Come on. Catch a vibe, y'all, right along. Just getting started and opening the doors for Rock the Block. Come on. This is Rock the Block. We talking crypto, NFTs and beyond. I hope you're holding on for dear life. There's a lot of talk right now about what the future looks like. There are some active participants. And we feeling good. Special guest this evening is Stefan Delavaux, president of the Carribean Blockchain Alliance. I had the pleasure of sitting down and talking with him. He updated me with the very interesting projects they have going on the island, their vision, what the future looks like. I look forward to sharing that with you. Come on. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the metaverse. We got our man Tahu in the building. What up, Tahu? Shout out to the crypto community. Shout out to everybody hodling right now. This is all a part of it. Sometimes that boy shows all green. Sometimes it's showing red. Let's go. The beautiful thing about the technology is the technology and what it offers, what we can do, different ways we can collaborate. Of course, we all want to make a buck. Of course, easy money sounds good. But when you're building, you're in the mix. When you're building, you're getting your hands dirty. When you're building, you believe in what you build. Let's go. Yes, beam in, vibe out. Coming up shortly, we have a special interview with Stephen Delavaux, president of the Carribean Blockchain Alliance. Had the pleasure of sitting down, having a one-on-one with him. We'll share that interview shortly. Until then, catch a vibe. What up, Tahu? We see you. Shout out to Low Key Giant. Gotta check out issue number 2, coming up in June. Audio Mag interview with Jose Caballero.
feeling good now, man, we just gon' show it. Always
shout out to Tama Inc.
But then we earned it. Never ever reaching the top, and that's for certain. Always room to do even more. I found my purpose. Breaking all the curses upon us to help them grow it. Get our minds back on track, we not gon' blow it. We only have one life to live to the fullest. Never fool, big boy shit, and I'm a bully. Step on me, I stomp right back, man, we can do it. My ambition's too damn big to be civilian. I'm thinking about grandpa, moms, and all the children. Gonna bring their wealth back, walk around and feed the village. We living good, alright. Just count a check, roll dice. Gon' party hard, feels right. We living nice, I want it nice. She want it good, real slow. We drink it up, pour more. Deserve it good, for sure. I'm living nice, I'm feeling nice. Remember the times
Tama Inc. made his debut with his first album called Permanent Marks.
Faith so great, have something.
He also dropped an NFT of his cover art. Check him out.
Gotta stay hungry, be patient, and believing. The effort you put in the vision that you're seeking. See it in your dreams, stay cut it, then I eat it. Never get discouraged for your mind with great defense. Even all the greats took a loss, best believe it. Get back up, never cold, stay heated. I'm feeling real right. About to go hit clubs tonight. Need me some Henny, alright. Where my guys at, we'll be right. Feeling real nice. Fuck all them days when I'm trash. Found out I'm all on my ass. I'm stacking and need all my cash. Feeling real nice. Catching them flights, now I'm high. Autopilot, sky, I dive. Check it, I'm feeling real nice. Stacking up bread. Fuck all that shit, need my shit. Fuck all that shit, need a check. Stacking that one, yeah, I'm like, feeling real nice. Rock on the beat, did it twice. Got my flow right. Chillin' on shit, now it's right. Gonna do better and better, and that's for certain. They can't get wetter and wetter, and now I'm thirsty. I just want all of the knowledge. Keep it clean. Hard work makes a resistance. Stop complaining. The city's easy, I bet it was just a greater than brain. Hard work makes a success. But no location. So mama said stay humble. And be patient. Even if your lifestyle
Yes. I hope you're feeling the vibe here in the metaverse. Warming up the set a bit before the interview with our special guest, Stephen Delavaux, President of the Carribean Blockchain Alliance. So glad he had the chance and took the opportunity, made the time to sit down and talk about what they're doing in their project on the island. So to get ourselves ready for that, we're gonna keep the warm island vibe going. I wore this shirt just for that. Once again, drop on into territory in the metaverse. Get a chance to meet Tahu. He's in the building. We are live here in Bushwick, Brooklyn. At First Live, 219 Central Ave. We just chilling. Later on, we've got Berto, an NFT artist who will be in the building talking about his work, giving some examples of what it's like to be an NFT artist. Once again, you gotta hodl, people. You gotta hodl. Once again, this is Rock the Block. We doing this every Friday here at First Live. Just warming things up. Keeping the vibe light, keeping it right on this beautiful day in BK. Come on. Once again, we've got an interview with the Caribbean president of the Blockchain Alliance, Stefan Delaveau. We'll be running that interview in about 5 minutes. If you're tuning in with us at the Metaverse, stick around. Once again, this is a live and virtual event. Coming up in a bit, we've got NFT artist Berto will be in the building. We'll chat with him about his Genesis first drop, his experience so far, and we'll talk about his process too. This is Rock the Block. You are rocking with John Block. We coming to you live from First Live. Shout out to the Low Key Giant team. The future forward concept of what new media can be. Issue number 2 drops real soon. Issue 1, intimate conversation with Lady Phoenix, the queen of crypto. Issue 2, amazing conversation with Jose Caballero. So I think very soon we'll get ready for that. Share that interview with Stefan Delaveau. How you feeling, Edric? You ready for that? Cool. We'll let this one run out. Once again, coming up next, a conversation with the president of the Carribean Blockchain Alliance, Stefan Delaveau. Let's go. Cool. Okay, welcome to Rock the Block. Here, John Block. We have a special guest with us today, Stefan Delaveau, tuning in from the Caribbean seas. How are you, my brother?
Pretty good, man. Thanks for having me. I'm here in the Bahamas, so.
Oh, man. How's the weather out there right now?
It's amazing. Not gonna lie to you.
Oh, the Bahamas, man. That is epic. So All right, so let's just dive right into it, right? So, what was your earliest memory as far as like technology? Were you raised in the Bahamas?
Yeah, born and raised here.
Okay.
It's funny because I guess I got into technology really late because we family computer, we didn't have one until I was definitely an older kid, maybe like, I don't know, 12, 13, something like that.
Okay.
No, that's not true, like 11, 12. But as soon as we had that, I dove into the internet, forums, a lot of video game stuff. So yeah, that was like my introduction to it, and I used it for music, especially music more than anything else, and just reading stuff online.
Okay. All right. So you dove right in, and that was it. And like once you started working with technology, were you just like, this is it? This is where I belong? And did you stop playing outside?
No, I think it was pretty balanced. Like I definitely spent a lot of time on the internet, but not overly so. I think it wasn't until much later, post college, I started getting more into tech and trying to figure out what's going on, with all these startups and people just trying to use tech in different ways. That's kind of that kind of opened my mind to what people can really do with it.
Okay. All right. And so, your interest in tech, is that part of the culture on the islands, or were you kind of like an anomaly?
Not at all, actually. It was funny because it was actually one of my best friends, Travis. He also grew up here, but he went to Tampa for school. In Tampa, they actually have like a pretty good tech and like startup culture. So when he came back after college, we had kind of set up this kind of organization, this kind of community group called Shift the Culture, to try to get, because down here there's no thriving tech community, not even really much of a startup community per se, but we wanted to start one. So taking what he learned from like being around all these startups, being around all this tech, bring it down and kind of showing us, we wanted to take that and bring it to other people. So we started doing meetups, workshops, things like that, just to get people involved. And it didn't necessarily have to be tech related per se, but at least startup related stuff. But obviously with the tech kind of, at least trying to get people more open to tech. So that was a cool experience. We still kind of do it every once in a while. We still have the community there, but especially those first few years, let's say 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, we did a bunch of events that went really great. And I think it really did open a lot of people's eyes and minds to actually using more technology. So I think we started something there.
Man, that sounds pretty awesome. And so, blockchain, crypto, what was your story, your origin story of getting into that space?
So yeah, I mean that's part of it, right? So my background is economics. I started economics in school, did finance, when I came back home, because most down here, if you did economics, you end up working in government or in finance. So it was like between that background and then getting into tech through this organization, I kind of started combining the two, and I got really into fintech, at least in the level of just watching what's going on globally in the fintech space. Tried to start a few things, didn't quite work, but I found out about blockchain because I had already heard about like Bitcoin and stuff like that. I didn't really pay too much attention, but when I actually heard about blockchain as a technology, that's when I said, okay, this is next level. This is like fintech, but the next evolution of it. So that's when I really got into it. That's when I got involved, and I just started paying attention from there.
Okay, wow, that's really cool. And so, you were paying attention so much that, you became president of the Carribean Blockchain Alliance. So what was the story of that, Mr. President?
That was like, honestly, that was the culmination of a lot of things. So there was this, I'll try to make it quick, but there was this conference in Jamaica called Tech Beach where, a lot of people were coming in, and I had been paying attention to this company called Bit in Barbados. They're the first blockchain company, first crypto related company in the Caribbean. And I kind of engaged the two founders of it, Gabriel Abed and Oliver Gale. So I was talking to them, went to the conference, met Gabriel. from then on, we had kind of built this little community of people who were actually engaged in the blockchain space, not just like, oh, I want to buy Bitcoin, but like actually wanting to the space and see what they can do with it. So we built this little community. Gabriel was like, whatever resources, because I had told him straight up, like, I want to actually push to make this a full organization. And he said, yeah, like whatever support or whatever support you need, I got you, kind of thing, right? So over the last couple of years, we've been kind of building that up. We focused fully on just building out a full, and it wasn't until last year really that we were like, all right, I definitely want these specific mandates, right? Like for education focus, obviously, like policy focus. And we've been really ramping things up, because we started some education stuff a few years back, but it wasn't consistent. Now we're consistent things like workshops, talks, courses, all that kind of stuff. So we're really trying to move now.
That's amazing. And so is the focus to educate the island as a whole, or all of the islands?
The entire Caribbean, really. Because our community is definitely pan-Caribbean. It's like we're represented throughout. So it's like as much as possible to get it every because the main point really is to make sure the entire Caribbean learns and engages and kind of uses blockchain together. So we rise as one unit rather than just like a bunch of different islands piece by piece. Sure. The point is unity at the end of the day for that.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Okay. So I think what you're doing is a great example of a community coming together, in one, like you said, growing together, collaborating, and educating themselves, very much like how we're doing here, forming our own, community to learn. And so for those that are new to this space, like, what do you tell them? Why is that even important? Someone's like, what are you talking about, man? I'm good. We're a community. I vote. I know who my local politician is. I got a couple dollars in my pocket. Right. What are you even talking about? Like, so why is it important for this whole blockchain crypto?
They think they're living the good life, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what do you tell folks about this new sense of future community?
Yeah, so I mean, you have to start from scratch, really, because the thing is, especially down here, we have a lot of, what's the word? It's fractionalized. There's a lot of friction just in everyday life. If we're using government services, none of the government services are connected. Everything takes 10 years to do, and it's an island. But at the same time, we have a lot of issues in terms of like trying to get stuff done. So blockchain in so many ways, whether it's payments, whether it's just infrastructure, there's a lot that blockchain could do to, sorry, I'm moving around a bit.
Oh, that's okay.
To really make things better for the entire region. And people are just starting to understand it now. They're starting to realize, okay, we can actually use blockchain for a lot of stuff. So the idea really is, if we can get that stuff rolling, and we can get it rolling across in a way that, we don't have to rely on big countries like the US and UK or the rest of Europe or whatever, just to engage with payments or get projects done, things like that. If we could actually do this stuff internally and do it together, we'd make it a much stronger Caribbean.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can dig it. And so I think, again, like you were saying, looking at any community, first step of that is building community, right? And education. So with that building and community and education, maybe let's separate those. So the building community, what efforts are you taking, or what does that look like for you in your process of building community where you are in the Caribbean?
So the building community part is actually what we started out with and what we continue doing, mainly for people who are actively engaging in the space, right? So having these different groups, having people come together just to talk about certain things, talk about updates, talk about what they're working on, possibly have, someone else either provide support or maybe even ending up working together. That's kind of what we're focusing on. And it's been really organic, and it's just like, okay, let's get these people in the same, even if it's just a WhatsApp group, or get them in the same like room where they can speak to each other, that kind of thing. And it's kind of threefold. It's kind of, people working in the space, regulators, which is something we're working on now, because we have to engage with the regulators to get public policy done, and government folks. getting them in the same room that, that represent different countries, so that again we can kind of build up policy that works for everybody. And then students, like we're trying to start blockchain clubs in the various, well, for the universities in the various countries. So getting those students together to kind of work together, learn together, do stuff together, that'll be really powerful too. So that's kind of the trifecta we're working on.
Wow, really cool. And how about and then all of those kind of groups? I guess that's where the education part comes in.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
I mean, again, it's threefold, but I mean, especially because for regulators and to build public policy, they can't do that without understanding what's going on first. So a lot of what we do, just our talks that we hold monthly, they're for everybody, but obviously our main goal is to make sure that the regulators are paying attention, that they're learning and watching and understanding what's going on. And then for the students, it's like, whether they're getting into course, understand blockchain in a way that they can just kind of dive in and learn. That's really what we're working on.
Wow, yeah, that's really cool. And so for those folks that are coming to, because they're starting to lift COVID restrictions, CDC's put out the word. So you guys are going to start getting the tourists that are like coming in very soon, huh? Are they piling in yet?
It's getting there. It's not enough to be sustainable, but it's slowly getting there. And you could imagine how crazy it is, because basically all of our economies are built on tourism.
Sure. Sure.
So yeah.
Sure. Is that part of your part of your blockchain vision or network as well, as far as like tourism dollars, except probably have a lot more tourists coming through now that have cryptocurrency as well?
Yeah, I mean that's a big part of it. It's not necessarily something we're focused on, but I mean a lot of people are like, let's try to figure out how to get more people who have crypto, or make sure they have more options to spend it if they want to, that kind of thing. So that tourism is always a part of it.
Sure.
No matter what. So.
Sure. So what tips are you giving for the new folks that are like, they're on the edge, kind of peeking in and like, oh, this seems interesting. What are your like basic first 3 steps you're telling for brand new folks in the space?
Oh man. Something I've said for so many years now is, don't just look at, because even right now everyone's just focused on like buying crypto and trying to trade and stuff like that. And that's fine, but obviously the important thing is understand what's actually happening behind the scenes. You don't have to, become an expert, but actually try to figure it out. It's like, okay, you're using the internet, but how does the internet work? It's that kind of thing, right? So why is Bitcoin important? Even something basic like that. It's not just something to put money in and hope it goes up. It's something that actually can provide a lot of opportunity and a lot of freedom, and it's the basic core of the thing, like censorship resistance and things like that, decentralization. And I think especially decentralization, that's something that we really try to push people to understand, because at the end of the day, especially in smaller countries that are maybe less united or less just efficient, centralization can be problematic. So pushing for decentralization is really important.
Yeah, very cool. And since you've been in this space for some time and working on education, and again trying to onboard like the islands of where you are, how's that going for you guys? How's the overall response? How's the process of education? How's like that aha moment for people kind of getting or understand this for the first time? What's that like?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's slow, and
Yep.
that's expected.
Sure.
We came into this expecting that, but I have to say, I mean, without telling a specific story, I will say early on, it was very hard. A lot of people just didn't care, weren't paying attention, and to see the shift, even some of those same people turn around and try to actually understand it and trying to open their minds to it has been a good feeling. So I think, especially, post-COVID, when people realize we have to get more digital, otherwise we're kind of screwed in a lot of ways. The push to be more digital, which obviously includes blockchain, but then just understanding blockchain in itself as a separate technology and what it can do for sustainability, connection, even if it's just better payments, things like that. It's definitely getting there. The interest is getting there, and I think as we get not just regulators but also students involved, we're going to see a lot more interest, because they're the future. They're going to drive a lot of what happens in the next generation. So
yeah, I would agree with
it's
that
exciting.
100%. Yes, absolutely exciting. Absolutely 100%. So for anyone who wants to, find out more about what you're doing, or if they're going to the Bahamas, they want to see what's, maybe dip into a class in between being on the beach, or whatever that is, like, what's the information? What's like, do all of that, the PSA stuff, so people can find you and connect.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm always on Twitter. It's a problem, but you can just type my name, Stefan Delaveau. My tag is Steph Delav, just the first half of both names. Carribean Blockchain Alliance is also on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, all that stuff. Check us out on YouTube too, because we have a number of talks there. They're every month, and they always focus on different aspects. The last one we had was on NFTs. The one before that was actually